Today, the number of tri-jets is dwindling, and sadly for aviation enthusiasts, there are no longer any commercial passenger operators. However, it's largely cargo and special-purpose operators helping keep these aircraft in the skies. One of the most notable tri-jets is the McDonnell Douglas DC-10. According to Boeing, which merged with McDonnell Douglas in the mid to late 90s, 386 DC-10s were delivered before production ended in 1989. With some 35 years having passed since DC-10 stopped rolling off the assembly line, let's take a look at the status of this aircraft in 2024. As Boeing notes on its website, the DC-10 was designed as a multi-range jetliner capable of operations from airports with relatively short runways, such as New York's LaGuardia, with a full load bound for Chicago. It was also used for departures from longer runways like St. Louis Lambert International for a non-stop flight to London. The aircraft at the time was fitted with a new generation of turbofan jet engines which produced more than twice the power but half the noise of the turbojet engines used on the first generation of jetliners. During the type's 20-year production run, 386 DC-10s were delivered with an additional 60 built as KC-10 cargo/tanker aircraft for the Air Force. On the commercial side, 6 DC-10 variants were developed. These are or were the shorter range Series 10 and Series 15, intercontinental ranged Series 30 and 40, the DC-10 convertible freighter, and the DC-10 Series 30F, an all-freighter model. We should note that some of the aircraft built as DC-10s have since been redesignated as MD-10s. The MD-10 is an upgrade to add a glass cockpit to the DC-10. Today, at least according to data from planespotters.net, captured late September 2024, there are just 9 DC-10 aircraft listed as active. One of these is technically a KC-10, while 2 have been modified to be MD-10s. Beyond those listed as active, there are 2 marked as derelict, while 4 have the status of parked. About 134 are listed as stored, theoretically meaning they could be reactivated. Of course, it's more likely that these jets will eventually join the more than 200 airframes already listed as scrapped. Of course, the few airframes listed as parked could go either way. Some may eventually be permanently retired, while others could return to service. But finally, and perhaps most interestingly, 30 are noted as having been written off. And so, where can one find these active aircraft? Since it's such a short list, let's go through them one by one. First is the aircraft registered November 330 Alpha Uniform. This DC-10, modified to be an MD-10, is now an incredible 51.5 years old and was first delivered in 1973 to Trans-International Airlines. Most of its life has seen it operating as a cargo aircraft, most recently operating freight services with FedEx up until 2011. But after being modified around 2011-2012, the aircraft has been operated by Project Orbis as a flying eye hospital since about 2016. The aircraft was kindly donated by FedEx and took 4 years to convert. The hospital part of the aircraft was built in Vermont, while aircraft modifications were taking place in California. Thus, the hospital cabin had to be transported to the West Coast before it could be installed. Meant to be a mobile eye hospital, the aircraft has an operating theatre on board complete with its own heating, cooling, electrical, emergency and fire warning systems separate from the rest of the aircraft. These are all powered by 6 generators which sit on the tarmac once the plane has landed. Frankly, it's an impressive and admirable project that's definitely worth its own video. The next 2 aircraft on our list are operated by Omega Air Refueling Services. These are registered November 974 Victor Victor and November 264 Delta Echo and are both around 46 years old. Both jets were not originally built as KC-10 aerial refueling aircraft for the military and were instead converted for this purpose. The private sector company Omega Air Refueling Services offers in-flight refueling services to the US Armed Forces and its allies across the globe. Omega is capable of providing probe and drogue and boom refueling services. And then 4 aircraft on our list are operated by 10 tanker air carrier. These are registered as November 17085, November 603 Alpha X-ray, November 612 Alpha X-ray, and November 522 Alpha X-ray. 3 of these jets are relatively young at only around 37 years old. However, November 17085 is the senior jet in the group, now being close to 50 years of age. All of these aircraft began their service lives as passenger aircraft, flying for airlines like Thai Airways, Japan Air Systems, and Finnair. The oldest jet was acquired in 2007, while others joined in 2014 and 2017. As you can see by the photos and videos shown here, these jets have been modified to become aerial firefighters, capable of dropping water or fire retardant on wildfires. 10 Tanker describes itself as an aerial firefighting organization working to protect communities worldwide, operating since 2006. The company's DC-10s have the capability to deliver 9,400 gallons of fire retardant within 8 seconds and up to a mile long. It adds that year after year, 10 Tanker responds to hundreds of wildfires and delivers millions of gallons worldwide. Each aircraft is followed by a crew of 7 maintenance technicians equipped with a truck and trailer unit. These teams carry a range of spare parts and equipment. The company notes that en route to fires, these aircraft have cruise speeds of 300 to 350 knots, while the drop speed is listed as 140 knots. Moving on, we have the KC-10 registered 79-1948. The aircraft was delivered to the US Air Force as a tanker transport in July 1982 and is due to join its colleagues in retirement quite soon. Considering that the Air Force announced that all KC-10s would be retired by September 30th, 2024, there's a very high probability that this jet will be off the list by the time you watch this video, meaning that there are perhaps 8 active DC-10s and not 9. As is noted on the official military website, the US Air Force's inventory of KC-10s will be decommissioned and gradually replaced by the new KC-46 airframe. The KC-46 is built by Boeing and is based on the 767 platform. Finally, we have the McDonnell Douglas MD-10 registered as Charlie Papa 2791. Now a little over 36 years old, the aircraft is operated by Bolivian carrier Tab Cargo. The aircraft began its service life with FedEx, operating cargo services with the American outfit. FedEx converted the aircraft to be an MD-10 in 2009 before withdrawing the jet from service in 2013. Tab Cargo picked it up shortly after, and the jet operates freight services across Latin America, most often in and out of La Paz, Bolivia. It looks like, at least in recent times, the jet has been operating a fairly regular route going from La Paz to Santa Cruz to Cochabamba and then on to Miami. From Miami, the jet returns to La Paz to start the cycle all over again. And so that's the current status of the global DC-10 or MD-10 fleet. Again, there are no longer any passenger services and the remaining jets serve quite specialised roles, aside from the one freighter. Did you ever get to fly on a DC-10? Share your experiences by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.